Hey guys, welcome back to Fan Art and Fan Fiction Friday. As you know, I've been creating Star Wars drawings for quite a few years now on Fridays, and sometimes I take time off and read some of my fan fiction. The latter has been a little bit rare, but you guys seem to appreciate both of them. One of you, I don't remember who, but one of you came up with a suggestion that I combine the two, both fan fiction and fan art. So today I've finally done that. Not only am I going to be drawing, not only am I going to be reading some of my fan fiction for you, but I'm going to be doing both. This is going to be quite a long series. I'm going to be doing one chapter every single week, including between 5 and 8 drawings per chapter to sort of show you, and I'm going to be combining my voice with music and, if possible, sound effects, plus the pictures, so it's going to be almost like a radio play, but with some pictures to go with it. So this is sort of a new approach for me, but I hope everyone likes it, and I'm really excited to see the reaction to it. This is going to take quite a bit of work. The fan fiction that I'm starting with is actually a re-upload. I uploaded like the first 2 chapters of it months and months and months ago. I think it was like last year, maybe the year before. But it's an alternate universe version of the ending of episode 3. There's a lot of stories, you know, what if Anakin didn't turn to the dark side? And the problem I had with them was they either don't change enough, or they change too much and have it all be a happy ending. I took the middle road for my fanfiction, and the summary of this is, even though Anakin does not turn to the dark side and defeats the Sith, he still has some inner demons to deal with, and it doesn't happen overnight. So I hope everybody enjoys coming on this audio and visual journey with me. The first few sketches probably are not going to be the best. This is going to be my practice. I'll do as many practice sketches as I can, but this is going to take up a lot of my time, a lot of drawing. I'm guessing every single sketch, even if I keep them as simple as possible, is going to take at least a couple of hours a day to do. So yeah, and this particular piece of fan fiction has 30 chapters, so this is going to be stretched out over the next few months, and if you guys like it, I may bring you more of it, but this one's just sort of to test the waters and see how everyone responds. So without further ado, let's go for it. Star Wars Fanfiction, Alternate Universe, The Reason. Chapter 1, The Chosen One. 500 Republica was the most exclusive address in the galaxy. Located in the political sector of Coruscant's northern hemisphere, it was home to the Supreme Chancellor. Chancellor Palpatine was not in his quarters. He was in his office within the Galactic Senate building, and he was not alone. One of the most revered Jedi in the galaxy was present. Countless exploits in battle had earned him the moniker, the hero with no fear, though indeed he felt fear. He was no different than any other human in the galaxy in that regard, despite his reputation. Fear was not his predominant emotion at the moment. What Anakin Skywalker felt more than anything else was anger. He stood trembling, blue lightsaber drawn, ignited, and pointed directly at the Chancellor. "He's a Sith Lord," exclaimed his inner voice. "He betrayed you. He lied to you and the entire Republic. He's the one who orchestrated this entire war. Kill him!" As if reading Anakin's thoughts, Palpatine addressed him. "Are you going to kill me, Anakin?" It was such a casual question, as if he was asking a passerby on the street the time. Clearly, he had no fear at the idea of being killed. Either he was bluffing, or did not see Anakin as a threat. Anakin glowered. "I would certainly like to," he seethed. Palpatine closed his eyes. "Yes, I know you would," he hissed like a snake and turned around slowly. "I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger." Anakin prepared to lift his lightsaber and strike down the evil man. Something stopped him. "What about Padme? If you kill him, you won't be powerful enough to save your wife." "I have to," he argued. "He's a Sith Lord. But your anger is what he wants." Anakin's limbs trembled with the conflict. He tried to force himself to attack, but he couldn't.
He's unarmed. It would be murder. You must. He's evil. He's my friend. He's a Sith. He's the leader of the Republic. He's evil. Padme is going to die. He is evil! The conflict became too much, and Anakin gave a loud cry, bringing his weapon down on the man. From somewhere within his voluminous sleeve, Palpatine produced a cylinder with an almost pearlescent finish. Within a second, he had ignited a blood-red lightsaber, the color of the Sith. With inhuman speed, he blocked Anakin's slash and wheeled around to face his attacker. "You will not join me?" Anakin glowered with venom. "No." "Then you will die," snarled the Chancellor. He gave a feral shriek and moved into attack, spinning like a top and dealing 3 hard, vicious blows to the young Jedi. Anakin blocked them, astonished at his speed, before moving in with a counterattack. He swung as fast as he could, speed augmented with the Force, trying to ignore the surge of adrenaline his anger and hatred brought to him. But at the same time, with every blow, a part of him didn't want to fight. "You can't kill him," it said desperately. "He knows how to save Padme." He's lied from the beginning. And so Anakin continued to pummel the Chancellor with blows. Each one was deflected and countered without a pause. Sabers whirled like windmills, red meeting blue, blue meeting red in a storm of fiery blades. Within minutes it was clear that Palpatine had the upper hand. He seemed to be toying with the young man, teasing him with openings only to attack before Anakin had the chance to take them. Then their blades met and did not move. Sparks flew and crackled. The sharp smell of ozone filled the air. Palpatine leered. "It is pointless to resist. You are using the dark side as we speak. Your anger and hatred are strong." Anakin gave a flick of his wrist to throw Palpatine's blade aside, then whipped around to come at his head. This swing was also blocked, sending more sparks in the air. "Give in. You know that once I am gone, any chance of saving your wife will be lost," said the Chancellor in a low voice. "You don't care about her," growled Anakin. "Oh, but I do," Palpatine countered, still giving the young man a look of superiority. He stepped aside and pulled back his blade. "Let me help you." "You lied to me," Anakin argued. "You reject me." Palpatine's expression grew hollow. "So be it." His eyes went yellow. Anakin recoiled as all doubt was erased. He moved in again, on the attack, swinging for arms, legs, torso, anything within reach. His amazement grew as the Chancellor blocked them all and gave a counterattack that Anakin was hard-pressed to block. He gathered strength with a deep breath, reaching for the Force, then unleashed it upon his adversary in the form of a hard push. Palpatine was caught off guard and flew backward with a cry, slamming into the wall. His lightsaber rolled from his fingers. Anakin gave a grim smile and leapt over the desk that stood between them. Palpatine glared and lifted his hand. Suddenly, a large piece of furniture flew across the room. Anakin was forced to duck and slice the large polished table into 2 neat pieces before advancing again. His progress was arrested by yet another piece of furniture. This was avoided with a tuck and a roll to the left. The next 4 items, chairs apparently, were cleaved down the middle or force-pushed aside. The final item, Palpatine's enormous desk, was missed completely and knocked Anakin off his feet. He gave a cry as a corner of the desk gouged the side of his head just above his left ear and tumbled to the floor behind the growing pile of wreckage. By the time he had emerged, the Chancellor was after him again, lunging for Anakin's chest. He cackled when his lightsaber nicked the youth's arm and made him stumble. "Your skills are no match for me." Palpatine sneered disdainfully at his opponent. Anakin glowered. The pain of his wounds only increased his determination to strike this Dark Lord down. He firmly gripped his saber in both hands and resumed his attack. He sensed Palpatine beginning to tire. With a slash and a vicious kick, Anakin knocked the lightsaber out of the evil man's hand. Palpatine tripped and fell backwards, scrambling away from Anakin's saber as quickly as he could until his back was against the wall. His yellow eyes were wide with shock. Without mercy, Anakin advanced, breathing heavily and pointing his saber squarely at the Chancellor's chest. "You were saying?" For a brief second, Palpatine appeared to be nothing more than a frightened old man. Clearly, he had not expected this. The facade soon dissolved into another vicious snarl. Without a word, he stretched his crooked fingers toward Anakin. Blue Force lightning spewed forth. Anakin brought up his saber to deflect it, gritting his teeth. Tendrils of the deadly energy reached him and made him wince, but he persisted in fending off the deadly barrage. To his horror, he found that, in sending the lightning back to Palpatine, the man grew disfigured before his eyes. For a moment, he felt sympathy for him. In a minute, the lightning began to slack off, leaving the Chancellor with horrible folds of drooping flesh in his forehead, as if his skin had begun to melt off. Palpatine tried to catch his breath, surprised at how well Anakin was holding up.
"I can't hold on,"
he rasped weakly.
"Too weak."
Anakin glared at him. "Liar!" he seethed, and reared back to deliver the death blow. The fear that overtook the old man was brief, soon replaced with hatred. With a shriek of rage, he reached out his arm and called the dropped saber back into his hand. In a single blinding motion, he deflected Anakin's blow and then made a quick slash at the young warrior's right leg. Anakin never saw it coming. Too late, he brought his own saber around to block, but Palpatine had already made contact. An agonizing pain exploded in his knee, making him scream and collapse to the floor. He forced himself to open his eyes to see the damage, and froze with complete horror. His leg was gone, sheared off right through the knee, bone and cauterized flesh exposed. His booted foot and calf lay at a weird angle some distance away. Anakin stifled another scream and fought to stay conscious. Every muscle trembled with shock. Feebly, he tried scooting away as the Dark Lord advanced on him. Palpatine smirked as he put his lightsaber away.
"Young fool.
I could have given you the galaxy, and you rejected it." More lightning shot from his fingertips and struck Anakin square in the chest. Again, Anakin cried out. He writhed as the lightning ignited every nerve into blazing agony. He was going to die. But Padme, his inner voice protested. What about Padme? The Sith shook his head as he prepared to subject Anakin to another round of frying.
"Poor Senator Amidala,"
he said with mock sympathy.
"Now she will die, and it will be all your fault."
Every word was punctuated by a single step toward Anakin until he was sneering right in his face. The scream of rage built in Anakin's chest until he could hold it in no longer. "No!" He called his saber back into his hand, ignited it, and plunged it deep into Palpatine's chest. The Sith Lord gave a strangled gasp. Abruptly, the lightning stopped and he staggered backward. Rage flared in his eyes, even as the light faded from them. Brutally, Anakin removed his saber by sliding it to the left with a grunt, slicing through Palpatine's chest and arm. The Sith Lord's eyes glazed over and all his breath left in a rush. He was dead by the time he crumpled to the floor in a gruesome heap. A shudder passed through Anakin. It was over. He deactivated his saber and clipped it back to his belt. Fatigue, horror, and pain hit him all at once, making him fall back upon his elbows with a hoarse gasp. His limbs began to tremble as the reality of what he had done hit him. The young Jedi scooted away from Palpatine's dead body, whimpering from more than pain. Images from his nightmare returned. Oh no. No, 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 no. Padme. I can't save her. Anakin choked with fear, leaning against an upholstered ottoman with tears in his eyes.
"What have I done?"
Overcome with remorse and pain, Anakin bowed his head. "No," he moaned. Fatigue overwhelmed him and he sank to the floor. An arm was flung over his tearful eyes to shut out the horrible scene that he had created.
Okay guys, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you want to see more G-rated Star Wars content or just want to keep up with this fan fiction that I'm sharing with you, go ahead and click that little subscription button down below. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box for ideas on how you can help keep this channel going. There's going to be a lot of drawings for this particular piece of fan fiction, and I expect it, if it's received well, it's probably going to stretch on for several months, one chapter a week. So I hope you guys like it. I really hope you guys like it. Oh, question of the day. I need to find a question of the day. Now, for a question of the day, it's going to be a little bit different for this series. Instead of asking for suggestions or your thoughts, I'm going to ask everybody about the story and where you think it's going to go for this first chapter. So, question of the day. Now that Palpatine is dead, where do you think the galaxy is going from there? And How do you think the Jedi are going to react to this assassination and the news that Palpatine is a Sith Lord? Go ahead and post a comment. I would love to see your theories on where my fanfiction is going. So I will see everybody again next week with more of this, if you like it. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. And until then, God bless, and may the Force be with you. Bye.